So time of questions and answers. Anyone? Then I kick it off, okay, with my question. When we did previously this, when you were locked, not allowed to move, how did you feel, or what was? Did you have any feeling compared to as you do usually? Decide that maybe being a little bit more.
That it was like where everything inside the body and the stomach of pushing you inside gets in response outside.
Okay, okay, good. Anyone else wants to share? Okay, let's go through everyone. Luis, let's start with you. How did it feel?
I think I had to build the connection different way. That when you are able to move.
Yep.
With that, I didn't feel connected at the beginning.
Hmm.
It was like some certain movement when you're free to move allows you to connect at a certain point.
Hmm.
So the connection was to be built different at this point when you're able to.
So when what you're saying is, let me understand. When you're allowed to move a little bit, it helps you to make the connection, to build the connection a bit more, or eat more.
I don't know. It feels differently. I feel
Okay, it builds differently. Okay, which takes longer or quicker for you to build up connection.
When you are not moving.
When you're not moving, it
It's
helps you.
different. I think it helps to go forward.
Okay.
But with this part of here, when you're receiving, it feels totally different.
Yes. Okay. And what do you think? Why?
With the hand together a little bit, just a little bit.
Okay.
If you are holding all the force or the power inside the body and you are not leaving any space for move,
Yeah.
the only move that you can do is forward.
Okay. Right. Okay. Okay. Anyone else?
If you isolate the movement, so you can't really move the torso, and you know you have to go that way. There's no other way but to work maybe this side. It's pretty much isolating everything else. So everything else locked. So isolate that part to work on that.
Yeah. Okay.
I wouldn't expect much difference, but it was.
What different? Okay. Obviously, one difference is that when you're allowed to move even a little bit, you're using a little bit of momentum, and you're using also these type of muscles on your back to help you especially move to the side. Okay, for sure. Also, you might feel, let's talk now about my experience. Okay, I don't want to talk in behalf of you, but when you're fixed like a tree trunk, okay, the tree doesn't move. Maybe he would like, we don't know, or she would like to, we don't know, sorry. But it cannot move, okay? So the branches are moving from a very, very firm trunk. So this is your center, your stability, from where you can move. What you might have been experiencing that as you're very firm, fixed, and you don't have this type of rotation possibility, your muscles here are like switched off, okay? So you can't really move to the side. And what you might experience that pushing is basically a little bit like easier because you can project forward because we hold you, we gave you also stable, we held you, we gave you also stable stance. So you had something to push from. Okay. But the same thing you should create actually for yourself to make a tree trunk type of body. But then let me show you something regarding the side movement. Please, Angel, come. Here's the demonstration. Why elbowing and things like that are important. Okay. So you hold me here. Okay. When I'm fixed and you used to move like this, okay, your hip and your back is helping. What you have to just do is you have a strong core, you hold this one as a piece, you move, and this is what you're missing now because you're like this. You can't do this. Okay, so let me show you. Hold me strong. Okay, I don't have now this possibility, but I have a core. See, I don't do anything. Okay, right? See, what do I do? It's easy. for me. I'm not understand, not showing off. I'm trying to let you see something I do without having momentum or the possibility to turn to the side, but he still feels that it's okay, I can do it. What's from your perspective, what helps me besides having a core? Watch me again, come closer maybe. Okay. Hold me as strong as you can. Okay? Has to be the elbow power. Yeah, that's sure.
Yeah, but it feels whole body connection because you feel one piece. Right? Amazing.
Elbow grip. Pull back over. My core. Pull my body. Okay, so I do the side movement. Okay, I do the side movement. This is my center. I use my center for the side movement. I cannot use the side. The center. For that you need the bridge and the elbow. So I'm pushing from here without moving. Okay? So that's what this tries to you to feel. I don't need a support from back because my support is actually my core. Feel. Okay?
What
For
was
that you need the elbow in. Otherwise you can't do it.
what was this exercise called again?
This is called Chai Sao.
Is this part of the system?
Yeah, it is.
I just do techniques. I don't know anything.
So,
Never did.
so this is what helps.
In a hurry, whether you will.
I don't know what it is.
And actually, what I explained maybe from the beginning, I do the circle actually also inside because come back again. Sure. This is very small, as I told you. Let's do with the left because maybe you're a bit more. So I have a little circle. Just you don't really see it, okay? Because I'm projecting it for you, for myself as well. In my mind, this is straight.
Yeah.
So from here, like in a normal fight, I don't have time to do this, okay? So what I do, cross the bridge. Cross the bridge.
Nice.
When we meet, cross the bridge. I don't do side. I have no time. That's what you learn in Chai Sao. Realize, guys, what you learn a straight punch. Okay, you learn a straight punch. You can't. Obviously, there's a hook, but the hook doesn't look like this. Okay, so when you're a straight punch, it's straight. You use your power straight. And he also, see my elbow is in, my shoulder is forward. What he feels, like Sean Carney said, you feel the gravity, you feel the core, okay? It's strong, this is your strongest part. Compressing, you make the connection.
So when I come to Sifu Zoltan, when I press him, see, all I can feel is bridge the whole time.
Yeah.
He's not collapsing this structure,
Yeah, I
the
don't like-
same angle.
Yeah, yeah.
And his circle is direct. It's just, it seems like a straight line, but actually it becomes inside the body later on. It just becomes inside. It doesn't matter for training. You can move a little, practice the elbow lining up and go.
Yeah.
But later on, it just becomes direct.
We do the circle. So as Sifu Q Fong introduced here, we have several types of Chai Sao, okay? But Chai Sao actually is one, okay? Everything is in Chai Sao. All the other variations, like this one, help you to feel certain things, which is great. You absolutely, it's good to do those. But at the end of the day, this should be like all of these variations should be somehow internalized, and at the end of the day should be becoming your. You do from outside, you don't see you do, but you do it actually do it. You project your power, you're connected. It goes through from your leg, through your core, goes into your bridge.
May we do some don'ts?
Yeah, sure. Okay.
So when Zoltan comes to me with his power, don't let him collapse you less than 90 degrees.
Yeah.
If he has a weapon in the street and I get used to training this, okay, he's going to stab me. Or in our system, Phoenix Eye. Okay, so if I let him collapse my bridge and enter me, penetrate, this is very dangerous for our system. It's against the principles. The power is away from the body in southern praying mantis. That's what it's famous for, okay? So don't let him collapse. Don't use the shoulder like this with the power.
Yeah.
Pulling across.
Yeah.
Okay? And don't, if I can't go forward, see, this angle is terrible. This, okay? Don't be pushing like this.
Yeah, don't raise.
Okay?
Also, don't let your shoulder go back completely because you think you want to handle. First of all, you will raise your shoulder, you will disconnect, you open up this whole area just to do this. It's bad for your shoulder. It's bad for your shoulder. You don't have power.
Can I suggest as well? This is not about ego. Okay? So if I have an ego, I'm going to really struggle against him and come out of shape, and then I don't gain anything. All I do is I just say to my training partner, I'm sorry, can you reduce just a little bit? You're still getting a workout, okay? So you're still getting a workout, and I'm still able to train with him, and I could just ask him to reduce the power. Otherwise, he's got too much power for me, and I just look like,
All of us then, yeah. You don't train what you should, okay? So we say that you have these key points in your body for the connecting. Wrist, elbow, shoulder, hip, knee, ankle, then count the neck, head, whatever, okay? So this is your power chain. And any of this is weak, or it's weaker than the others. As they say, you're as strong as your weakest part, okay, in this chain. So when you lose somewhere, it will go through your whole body chain, and you will compensate with something. Okay, you will try to compensate with something, which is nothing wrong with that. Just have to be aware and training that way. Okay, so these key principles are really important. Otherwise, you cannot create this unity in your body. Okay, don't underestimate them. Don't overlook them. Don't think that you're going to change later as you become stronger or whatever. Actually, you won't really, unless you're really committed and you do consciously what you do. As we said, you can approach this from two ways. You can go from soft to hard. You can approach it from hard to soft. After a while, if you do a conscious practice, both ways will lead to the same goal, the same time. We are different persons, different type of people, okay, with different mindset, different body type, different abilities, how we move our body. For some of them will be maybe the softer part working for you, or the other ones might be the harder part. I know like Bali. Simple Bali for him was the harder part was working. For me, it's a blend. I had to realize after a while that only the hard doesn't work for me. I had to change, and I have to find my way, my pace while doing soft.
But it's leading to the same path, and this is what I say. That there's no right or wrong way to train, only the end result. And when I say that, I'm not talking about being a fool and training like an idiot. When I say there's no right, of course there's a wrong way. If you're a complete idiot, you're training in the wrong manner, or if you don't understand the basic principles. But what I mean is there's no right or wrong with hard to soft.
In ideas, there's no wrong or right in ideas. In practice, it is, because we have people who try to put in practice some certain ideas. Then it comes through you, so you can make it wrong actually by not understanding or by.
Or if you haven't got a good seafood to give you some guidance. Essentially, it's a perfect balance, and that's why Zoltan, balance, us, Attila, everyone. Train a complete balanced system. If it's not balanced, if you're just training hard or fighting technique, or if you're just training principles with no fighting technique, there has to be a balance. There's not really a right or wrong. There's only balance. Balanced training is key, right?
Okay. So, any question? Does it make sense to you guys? Does it make sense to you?
What was it called again? Chai.
I will write it down. I will send you in.
It's an auxiliary exercise. You don't need to worry. You can do it
my Cantonese is not perfect, so I will.
Once a week.
Chai
5 minutes.
Once a year.
30 seconds a day.
So let me add to this. So we always emphasize like foundation training, and not because we don't have a curriculum to work on. We do have quite huge curriculum actually. If you look
the program itself. We have loads of exercises, all exercises, all power technique, drills, power generation, cheap exercises, weapons. We have quite low. If you go through because foundation, you never stop training foundation unless you're really a very, very high level and you can just give up practicing because you internalize everything. Even my Sifu chicken at the age of 76 is practicing foundation. Why? Because he's lazy practicing techniques sometimes. He does practice well sometimes, okay? Because he wants to release his power. No, it's not because he's lazy practicing.
80-90%
Yeah.
of his training
Yeah.
is foundation.
Yes, because he knows exactly that how he can still develop himself, how he can go deeper,
Yeah.
and making his power even better or high level, more refined. That's how how he should train. And once you train actually with this approach, actually you realize you're younger. Okay, so you will still have more energy, more everything. It keeps you actually more fit, more young, instead of like focusing always on this. Those are good. Just don't overdo or overestimate. Don't overdo the other one as well. Or don't miss
Balance.
the balance. Don't miss the soft. Don't miss the techniques. Don't miss the forms, because they teach you how to channel your power and how to use your power. So that's why we say foundation is very, very important. If you don't train foundation, you think, oh, yeah, now I'm good enough and I should practice only forms and chongs and things like that, then it's not good.
That's the minute you make a mistake, because the
It's a mistake.
gatekeeper of the system this is why, again, you know, he's given representation, and he's asked us to go forward to teach people the true system. The essence of the true system is for fighting extreme violence. On the flip side, it's absolute health. And that's why you see all these, you know, amazing masters who understand how to train the system. They look healthier than us.
Yeah.
They're stronger than me, much stronger than me.
Look Sifu. Look at his father. He was still practicing at the age of 89. Look Insike.
Yeah,
He's 80,
amazing.
85, 86.
He looks great, right?
He does, basically, he does everything still.
Yeah.
86. Just imagine that when you're 86,
Amazing.
still being like, you can move.
And you can see he's full of vitality as
yes,
well.
yeah,
When
you
you
can
look at
have
him, he's
fun,
full
you
of
can
health.
enjoy life. My
Yeah.
Sifu can enjoy life. So it's just a great thing to do. Or you look,
Sifu Wong is
you know, he's not so old, but but he's, I think, 60 something. I don't know, over 60 for sure. He still looks fantastic.
True.
Great. Sifu Wong, how old is he?
74. He's
74.
stronger than me.
He's also, so there's a deep value in these practices, and just the techniques and forms and actually won't give that to you. Foundation is going to be.
Very
Qigong
true.
is
Very
going to be. Okay. Any question? Not just to chat to anything. Want me to explain or show what?
Yeah, actually, I think last year sometime or beginning of this year, I don't remember. You posted.
I don't hear so.
I said last year or beginning of this year. I don't exactly remember. You posted 2 videos about Q and pi.
You can find, yeah.
Yeah, and in one you said that the Q is more rigid and straight, and the
Yeah.
pi is more soft and whippy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah. But I don't really see so much difference, at least like visually in the execution. And
Understand. Okay, so UQ is a straight. They call dodging. It's a dodging technique. Also, you can use it as a shock, like shocking the other one. So someone comes on you suddenly, but it's actually a push. And what the big difference is that you go low with the UQ and put your weight because you're dodging.
Mhm.
Okay, so you move your body in quite significantly.
Mhm.
So you can see that. This is the goal and how you practice. Okay, we say always, when you practice, there's certain thing you practice, what you want to improve. That's another thing
that when in reality you meet someone and you suddenly do that. Won't be like that. It won't look like that. But the principle, what you practice, where you're practicing, you will be in it. Okay. So, like if I look at you from outside, you did a UQ and it was you were standing higher. And it was more like a shock or more cool. I will not tell. Sorry, there's no one cares. The practice is teaching you something. Apply it. It's up to the situation. You can apply it in a push, in a shock. You can apply it even as a hit if you'd like to, where you try to put in what you've learned. The PIQ is not deep, okay? So there's no, like, I could even say there's leaning in, but in the UQ, but also you extend like shortly your leg to drop your weight down, okay? So it's that gives this kind of shock and dodging also to the technique. If PIQ, you're like this, okay? That's really a sudden much shorter motion than UQ. UQ is long. UQ is long, has more momentum, more body in it. Obviously, we put body in everything. So that's the funny thing, because in PIQ you also have body, but in a different way. You're sinking and you have the motion with a much shorter expression of your power, and that makes it different. Makes it different.
Can we just get a demonstration?
Remember what we were on about the other day? Remember we were talking about Jam Jong and we practice it at this angle, a hexagon. So dispersing force equally. Hexagon is in nature and honeycombs. This is the angle, 120. So if you make a UQ, okay, now if you do it, some people do it like this, okay? This is a classic mistake, okay? You squeeze your hand here. So anything you hit with here, because the angle is 90 degrees or less, 90 is bad. So when you squeeze here, you keep your hand there, strong as you can, yeah? Let's just close it, yeah? Okay? Now you make it with the correct angle, which we program. That's why we stand, we relax, we program. So everything we do is involved with that angle. When I press here, you're going to feel it, not your bicep or tricep, you're going to feel it in your feet, okay? Sounds strange, but watch. See that? Feel it? Your feet.
Even let me help you with it.
Elbow in. So any power you apply, whether it's a phoenix eye on the end of this, whether you're using this part, it's mathematically stronger than don't do this. Same with PIQ. Yeah, if you do it 90 and you squeeze as strong as you can, yeah, okay, and you do it with the correct angle, yeah, okay, and you feel it right through your body. See, see the strength. So it's very important for basic principles. Okay.
Look to wide.
Yeah. Let me also tell you something. This is a great demonstration. Let me tell you something. Why elbow in? Okay. So put like this one. Okay. So when you elbow, as you turn, not necessarily too much like this. You looks okay. Okay. Well. Okay. When you see, I'm starting turning. Even it's 120. Okay. I'm start turning his body, twisting him. Put it in. See, it leads towards your center. This is your core. Okay. So you're leading first when there's an impact. You're leading it towards your center, which is your strongest part. So you can have a resistance. If it goes out,
So the arm
then
doesn't
you
buckle.
don't have a support. And when you want to express power, also the strongest is express it from the center, from your core. Okay. Also, it's no nothing mystical in it. Okay. It's also pure physics or pure mechanics.
True.
Okay. Leading in or leading out. You transfer it down or you bring it up with the same principle. Just go inside or outside. The same story. Okay. I don't like to talk about energy and chi and things like that. I always have arguments with Attila, who likes to talk about chi because he believes in chi. And I say it all the time that I don't like to talk about chi and energy, not because I'm a materialist, because I think it became a buzzword. Okay? And many people had bad feelings about talking chi. It's like whatever you can call it. I know there's a scientific explanation behind it. But when we talk and I tell him what I feel, he says, well, that's chi. Okay, I say, you can call it chi. It's cool. I have a feeling in my bridge, but I can replicate anytime. Now I can. That's my game. Let's say when I feel that my power is in my bridge, that's what you practice.
Transfer of energy.
Yes. It's there. I know. I feel. We can call it chi. We can call it chi. I just call it. I have my power. I have my power in my bridge. Anytime I can have my power in my core, in my bridge, wherever I want. It's there. I feel it. It's okay. There was something else that I wanted to say.
Talk about the gaucho when you're ready.
Okay, let's go with it. Okay, let's go.
So, Mike, can I borrow you?
Sure. Let's go with girls as well.
So you see some people skimming is fine. Like this. Okay. It's okay, but I'm hitting the target 70%, 30%, for example, I'm pissing on the floor, right? Now, some people said to me when I said, well, why do you do it like that? They said to me, oh, it's in case perhaps he throws another punch and you might catch it. That's pretty terrible, right? Okay, so the way I look at it is like this. We want to learn to place 100% of the energy here. You can skim and stop here because you're still controlling. If you're in a fight and another strike comes, your hand is still live. You haven't lost the hand. This is bad practice, okay? So if you look at it like this, now just do it to the exact spot and stop. Yeah. Okay. So now he's receiving at this point 100% of my power, and his palm is being conditioned because his palm is receiving. Go. Well, let it go. Okay. So if he can learn to take the power, 100% of the power to my collarbone, later on, he can just pass that a little extra. It's like a needle. Like when you're doing any type of acupuncture, it's very precise and exact. They put it in the body. You don't throw it like this. You know, it's to the exact point. If you want to strike somebody here, liver, collarbone, temple, you do it. All right? So try to be aware of what you're doing. Don't just teach yourself bad habits, hitting the floor, you know? Think about your training. Involve the mind. Okay?
Any question, Dad? Whatever question.
What's your favorite technique?
Actually, I'm trying to learn the pole stuff. With my
Oh, okay. Nice.
When it's a
Hitting
big,
somebody.
That's a bit aggressive.
when it's okay to start with the pole, because there is some
Pole.
generic advice when you can feel the breathing, you know.
My so if we go by the program itself, I would say that when you start like the third module, get the power, you can also start with it. Because the pole fits very much into the concept of Chogar. Because we use the pole not just as a tool, as a weapon, or honing the skills with a weapon. They are also honing your skills with empty hand, the weapon forms, especially in my opinion, the pole. But also the pole, since our pole for practice is long and heavy, it enhances your hanging power. Because you might remember we have exercises with the pole, how to make it stronger, how to hold the pole far from your body with the same principles. So by the get the power, you most probably have the principles. You have your shoulder forward, you have your chest in, you have your stance is right, so you might be able to handle better the pole. And that the pole can help you in many ways, being stronger, being your wrist stronger, your wrist stronger, having a better hanging power,
Body power.
coordination. Yeah. So I would say like around get the power. It's not,
How do you fit it in daily practice? I mean,
you know, I would use it. I would use it also as a warm up. These strengthening ones when you play with the wrist and when you hold it, and when you do the stab. So I would start first with the small exercises, not with the form. Learn to handle the pole. Learn to strengthen your wrist, to hold the pole, to do the stab and the downward hit. So start with that, and then when you're comfortable, then you can start with the form itself. It's very good. The pole is very good. When I started to practice with the pole, it helped me a lot. I became stronger and more, even and also more relaxed. My release was getting better because when you do the step, it has a weight, the pole, and it helps you bring it forward more, bring out.
yeah,
bring
you
that
project
out.
as well,
Yes,
right? That's the
exactly,
thing.
exactly. But it can help a lot. So,
And what is most of people don't have a partner.
yeah.
Training plays out, for example. Sandaigan is a good alternative.
Shandaigang is a very good alternative. You can do that. Even you can do Shandaigang against like the wall or tree or anything. You can learn how to push to the side, so you can learn elbow in under pressure. And when you do the Shandaigang just by itself with power, so if you remember, we do Shandaigang soft, long, soft to learn how to move, and then you can start putting power in. And really, like in everything, like Shandaigang is a terrific exercise because it's probably, I hate, okay, it makes you so weak, makes you feel so weak that you cannot imagine, okay? So there's no glory in doing Shandaigang, but it can make you very, very good. And if you would be able to do that with someone, doesn't matter if he does this
Yeah,
system or
because
not,
someone
just to
can
give you
just hold-
resistance,
yeah, yeah.
okay? And you can tell him or her how to hold you, how to let you move, or what kind of resistance to give you. That would be great because that's easier to pick someone to help you do Shandaigang than
Nine
try
sides
self.
up. Okay.
If you were to explain Sambo Gin to somebody who didn't know anything about Jalgar, how would you go about it?
Explaining Sambo Jin to someone who doesn't know anything about martial arts or Chogar only. Or
Let's say you're talking to a Thai boxer.
a greenfield.
No. Let's say you're talking to a Thai boxer or a sort of Western sport fighter, and you were saying, right, okay, but there is this exercise, Sambo Gin. How would you explain that to?
Sambo Jin for us is the highest level of Qigong. So we would explain that, if I may.
Sure.
So we would explain that all of the internal secrets, so-called, they talk about iron throat, solar plexus, rib power, testicle retraction, all of this Heigongs or Qigongs, all of them are essentially in Sambo Jin. So Sambo Jin is the beginning, Sambo Jin is the end. It's never finished. You're always self-investigating further and further. And it's a development of power. It's for development of power. So it's a movement, it's a breath, and it's a connection of the mind or an intention. This is what makes it Qigong. If one of them is missing, then you're just dancing around. So essentially, it's the highest level of Qigong for us in our system.
Yeah, actually, definitely. It's, you know, I've been just thinking during this what you said, how I would explain, especially to someone that is skilled in like Thai boxing, because it's very different. So our system is very different, has a very different concept. Even though I see in certain cases when I see fights some similarities with Thai boxing, especially when they do traditional, how they hold a fist, they have a tiger back, they have the shoulder forward and things like that. So you can definitely see that. but the release of the power or how they generate power is different. So I still would say, in my opinion, I'm not a type of celebrity type of thing, that they could gain from doing sample gym as they learn how to generate power with a more still body. Because when you're restricted and you learn how to control your movements and your body and generate power, being a little bit more restricted, that can enhance very much your application when you're free, allowed to move freely or to generate power.
Easy.
Also, it's isometric and isotonic exercise in the same time, so it gives you a lot of body connectivity. With the conscious practice, it gives you a way of how to connect your body more in a firm, and even in, I don't want to say anything stupid, but yeah, let's step up.
Yeah.
So it can give you a very good body sensation and being very conscious of your body, how.
So would you? Sorry.
And actually, if combined with breath, combined and using both the soft variation, the release variation, and the hard variation, it can give a lot to actually any martial artist. I would say even Sambo Jin could be a completely standalone exercise done by anyone. It's not doing yoga. I just want to have a tool for improvement in all the aspects it can give, either the release, either the breath, or strengthening and body connectivity. That's what I would say, because it's not worth to go deeper into it, because we don't necessarily speak the same language, and we would sound like or I don't know. It's simply put, anyone could gain from doing something.
I had this conversation recently with kickboxing and Muay Thai guys about the use of Sambo Yin. And there are some things that they understand straight ahead. It's the concept of the irradiation of the body. It's something that is found in some articles about strength training, that you have to, for saying one part, the tension of the whole body helps to create new connections with mind-muscle connections. That helps a lot. And also the concept of the response of the Sambo Yin for me is 3 arrows. When you throw an arrow, you throw. It's just what you're learning. But you break the tension and go.
Let's go beyond this, because this is a very good point. Because so names, from the names, people can have different perceptions what it is. Like three-step arrow punch. It's like you go 3 times and you
For me, the most
and
important
that's it.
is the triggering action.
Yeah, but remember how the arrow goes out.
Tension.
There's a tension
Tension.
and then a sudden release.
Yeah.
And actually, that's the idea behind. That's why this is 3-step arrow punch, not because you're going straight 3 times. It's just the way of you collect and you suddenly release your.
That they get immediately. That kind of people,
Slow
they're
mo.
very receptive to this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Especially when you can show it, because I knew this guy. I never been really fast with my hands or whatever, and he could, when you were doing saddle boxing, he could tell the difference and said, I don't know other stuff than this one. And he could be that release was better and start releasing in a non-telegraphic
Exactly.
way.
That's the other point. What you also learn with Sambo Jin is how to not telegraph your punch, because you're not really allowed to move or to move back with the punch. So you're releasing from the same point. And it has lots of aspects, but that is in real application, that could be a good benefit for you, that you have this kind of power generation where you can release your power from a still position without throwing back. People might argue that this is not as strong as like a big hook, but I might agree. It's different type of release, which can give you an edge in many situations over a big movement. And when I'm talking about short hits, short movements, look at like really top boxers. One of the best example is Mike Tyson. He would anytime release his power from short range, from a closed situation. he didn't watch his knockouts in many cases. Doesn't do like in a bout, close bout. He doesn't do. He say he's able to release it suddenly and put like a lot of power. And when you learn a pattern, okay? You learn a pattern in the way of power generation. Then in reality, you can express it in many ways. So I would say that the power generation concept of Choga could be used generally. Okay, it gives you a tool which you could imply in whatever you do. And actually, any martial art you do, maybe in some ways where it's very, very, very different the concept. It's not the best, but in mostly in many martial arts, you could make can have a benefit.
Yeah.
So that explains with a very clear example that it's not about the techniques, it's about the condition. When you have it, you have it. Doesn't matter what you do.
The development of power. So, for example, if you're doing sambo jin and then you hit a punch bag with a big haymaker, like you're talking about, definitely adds to the power, I think.
Yes, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And you know, again, let's not give the feeling to you that you just should practice this. No. That's true. That having just an engine, it will not make your car go right. You know, you need the wheel, you need the driver, the instincts, everything. So you have to build on the engine. Okay, you build up everything on that engine. But if you don't have the engine, if you have a 1 liter petrol engine compared to a V8 or V12, whatever, it's quite a big difference, right?
No comparison.
Okay. So, but obviously, you learn the techniques and everything to channel this power, to learn how to use it. If you don't have nothing to use because you have no juice, then your car won't go too far either. And this is where my Sifu is saying, when you try, especially at the beginning, to force the application, then you don't let this whole story sink in you, because there's a saying what my Sifu said always, which is difficult to understand, that power will teach you how to use it. It helps you because you will feel how it works. Okay, but if you don't let the power come out, to the power build, that won't teach you anything. Then you will have to try to teach yourself something.
Technique
which is not coming
must be
from this
built on the
foundation.
power you
Yes,
have.
then
You cannot,
you're disconnected from the power. Then
Yeah.
you do something. You not wait until your power becomes that on that level when it can teach you really something how to apply.
I mean, you look at it, everyone says that Choga Mantis is a it's a Qigong, it's a system built on Qigong. So you look at people's Sambo Jin, and you see a lot of it, or people skip over it. And like you say, for us and the gatekeeper, it's fundamental. It's the most important, because you see people just moving through it with no mind control, no breath work. So how is it Qigong? You know, and the more you practice it, then it's becoming Loigong. You know, you're learning an internal skill, because it's self-development. It's a skill you're developing, how to release the power. You know, it's never ending. So that's why we practice all the time.
And the other thing is also not good, as I said, practicing only foundation, only strengthening. You need to release it. You need to channel it. You need the soft side. You need everything to become really able to use what you build. Okay, so that's why you should practice forms. You should practice San Sao. You should do chongs, because chongs help you first test how your frame and how your power is working. Also, you get used to being in contact with someone. We have lots of conditioning exercises and we have chongs. You do that to get used to how your power works, how it's to be in contact, especially when you're getting more and more advanced. You have better understanding when you feel your power and you both together on a good level. You enjoy putting power in it in a conscious way, and you feel this is it. You learn how to do it. So it's all these things are building up on each other. Okay, so you need everything. What we have in the system. That's why we have so many exercises. And you know, about so many exercises, I think we in one of the lessons we talk about this. Some might say that too many exercises, that you cannot you cannot give everyone. How you say? I've said in English, you cannot please everyone. Okay, for some people it's too less. For some people it's too
Who's
much.
going to say it? Chow Gar police.
Well,
You gotta
whoever
be
said-
careful because
Sure.
the Chow Gar police are real.
So
Everyone just enjoy your training and just there's all different ways to train. There's no right or wrong. Like just you enjoy doing this, you can do that. You enjoy this.
absolutely.
As long as you're on a self-development and you're enjoying it, that's it. It's about health as well, not just about you know.
from where many exercises come. Okay, let's elaborate on them. Not because necessarily there were so many exercises, because people like masters like say Chona or one who was the head of the Southern Shaolin or also, when they understand their craft, they know what they do, they teach people genuinely, they want to teach them, and they see they are struggling with something. They know the problem is people are different, they have different understanding, as I said, different body type. They tailor certain things to them to give them the chance to feel or understand something which they would not necessarily understand. Okay, so they give them a tool, they give them an exercise, and since everyone is different, I can give you, I think, okay, I see that you have this type of problem, I give this approach, I give that approach, and these become exercises later because you're starting to teach to your students. If you understood what I told you, then you will know who to teach, and not saying it's a general exercise, but you can put it in a curriculum, let's say, because it helped you, so it might help anyone else. When you go individually to your students, you will know, okay, this one I teach to him, to them. I teach everything to everyone because they might also teach others. They might also need additional tools. That's one thing. The other thing is doing always the same thing. It trains you. It becomes boring. It burns you out. So we give you tools, which actually teaching the same thing to you from a different angle, or a different approach. If you would pick, I don't know, 10 seemingly different exercises and tell me the name, I would tell you how they teach the same. Okay? A different angle. And this is the reason also having more exercises to just bring you out of the boredom and give you another tool, another aspect, another angle of the same teaching. That's why also we don't believe in having the one exercise which is superficial, and if you don't know that, then your like 50 years or 40 years or 30 or 10 is all in vain, because there's no such exercise,
No magic.
in my knowledge and in my experience, based on my understanding of the system, and I was even speaking generally in Kung Fu, which teaches you something with no exercise, which is not touched by some of the exercises in certain ways. There's no such. There's no magic exercise which just switches you on. There will be for you some of those, but there's no one on and only. It's going to be that. Okay.
Except chess.
As the gatekeeper says, the basic principles, Chai Sao, Dojong, Sambo Jin, combination of them, and build from there.
As I've been taught, okay, let's touch on that. As I've been taught by achievement, and I've heard also from Grandmaster Ron, that originally the system was very, very simple. That the power generation exercises like chess, and for channeling power, learning how to use it, had a few forms, some Ryukyu, some applied, maybe some other San Sao, to help you bring your power out. And that was all. And these people were quite good. Okay. This system grew. Techniques were added by Lao Soi, by Soy, whoever was the head of the system or had a great understanding. And if you look at what techniques, because based on the story, techniques were borrowed from different systems, but some of the systems had the same principles, like ours, like beggar system, or from, I don't know. Since I'm not sure, or maybe no one is sure, which system was created when, it's very difficult to say that this was first, so we borrowed from it. I don't even necessarily think believe the whole origin story how it was. Anyway, it's not subject. But the techniques which were added, I might ask the question why that technique was added. What was important in adding a technique? The technique, or what the technique tries to teach you? and my understanding is, techniques which were added based on the principles, and they were added to teach you the principles, and at the same time being a tool to channel and use it as a technique in a reality. But they all teach you something. It's not a technique. It teaches you actually a principle. Like think of like so sinking, far, closing out. Okay, it's a principle. Technique is materializing the principle itself.
Sorry. Let's say you're a trainer, you'll have like 1 hour or 2 hours straight to train.
Yeah.
Like half an hour there and here. What would be, I understand that there is no like typical and standard way and different, but any kind of exercise we should focus on or
And it's solo training, or
Yeah,
or you
solo
have a
training.
partner? It's a solo training. Okay. And you have like half an hour.
yes. Like that like 3 times a day. Half
Three
an hour
times a day,
here,
half an
there.
Then I would do maybe different type of sessions if you have half an hour, 3 times a day. So I would usually for me how it works better. Usually in the morning I do something soft and warm up. Okay, I don't try to do hard exercise in the morning. And then later during the day, when I'm a little bit warmed up, I can switch to some harder exercises. But also before that, I do at least one soft exercise. But then I start doing like Jili or Sambujin. Even with the Sambujin, I usually don't start with the hard. I start with a softer version to go to my body that now I'm doing. I build up my power. And then I do some release. So definitely I will put soft in the beginning, then a little warm up in the next one, and then starting doing hard exercises, but finishing with the release and with the soft. 30 minutes you can do quite a lot. And then maybe the third one, if it is late, I will not try to again stress my body with hard. Maybe 1 or 2, not long, and then I will focus on release. Release exercises. Forms, more technical sun sounds. Forms are sun sounds, combinations of sun sounds. Okay, so we say you can practice sun sounds, especially at the beginning when you don't know forms. When you know more forms, then when you practice those forms, you might not necessarily have to practice sun sounds, except you want to practice a specific thing or a specific sun sound. What you teach you, then you focus on that.
I don't know. I have the impression when I it is almost as stressful to the body to me as like
When you as a start, or you start already releasing, or how you do it? What's your way of doing?
no, I mean the practice in general
Okay.
of the release.
Okay.
Yeah. It feels to me like the strength training from the third module
Yeah.
to get the power.
Yeah.
Just condensed into this time frame. I mean, I feel that the muscles are doing the same contraction,
Yeah.
or maybe even more, because you get some kind of peak out of it. So I really feel, or if I do it properly, and what I feel is the release. I mean, release in sense of I
Yeah.
want to hit something or grab something.
Yeah.
It is. I'm as tired as if I going like.
Of course, because you're trying to use the power. That's why at the beginning we laugh and we say that we could call this module shake of the beach like second get the power module, because you start working. So you still do, as we explain, you never stop doing power building exercises. Never, actually never stop. Just you maybe play with the percentage how you move, but actually you never stop. And within the shake of the bridge, you start doing 2 things: releasing your power, and also learning how you collect and release your power in the same time. But you can approach release, as we explained, in different ways. So you might release without tension. So just learning how to release. You can release. This can be also release when you completely relax release. Release can be also, this is a release where you see it's a little bit more, and release can be like when you release but you don't let it go. These are all different type of release power. Okay, and this is what you have to play with it. And with the release, we also try to teach you how to sense which is the power level in you, which you can release in a way that your body is still. Okay, and you learn how to increase the power when your body can still take it and not move you out. It's also a very conscious practice how you use your body and project your power in the ritual out. At the same time, learning that your body is your body.
I think it's a very good question because a lot of people have time, like myself. That's how I trained a little bit here, there. And the truth is that there's no genuine, definite answer. I think Sifu Zoltan answered it perfectly. You know, and you're so lucky with my Chow Guy. You've got so many different modules, so many different training ideas you can use. So you can listen to your body. Listen to your body. See, you know, you could have trained hard the night before. The next day you're sore, but say, oh yeah, train.
Yeah, don't force something necessary. So if you feel that your body tells you it's not the right time to do it, obviously there's sometimes when you have to do it. But in general, listen to what your body tells you.
And that's still a great example. Warming up hard in the middle, calm down in the evening. Otherwise, you'll injure yourself if you don't have a. You don't want injury. It's about health as well as martial. What's for lunch?
In Chogar system, like Chuan and such, right? They had very simple lunches.
Jasuba, Shima.
I don't know what I'm going to put. I don't know, you're sitting here very silent. Usually I'm not sitting silent. Or you're just thinking, absorbing what you heard also.
So go morning.
I was just gathering all the information I got during this training camp, and I was making a conclusion in my head what I have learned. And it's just about knowing different ways of moving, just to have a clear. Nobody is 100% clear, but a more clear perception of how to use my body in the way that I understand that I should develop better the skill, develop better the power, and starting to refine what is good and what is not that good if you are looking for a purpose in the training. So basically it's always the same, but you know better now. We have more tools now.
Yeah.
And we have also been training with different kind of guys. One is bigger, one is smaller, one is faster, one is slower, and training with every one of them gives you different feelings as well. And what you find in common or what you put together is the most useful thing that we can take from a training camp. I was just thinking about that and about what is 4 lines today.
Yeah, that's good. Let's find out what is your for lunch. Anyway, just so before closing, before going for lunch, and really thank you everyone that you came here and you put yourself in the training very consciously. I'm happy to, because I touched everyone. I usually train with everyone. I try to give the experience to everyone, and I also want to feel you to understand how to help you. Because when we train, I know what's happening in you or with you, not from emotional perspective or something like that, but how you move, it tells me a lot, and I can help in that way. What I wanted to tell you that we are trying very consciously to build you up from the ground to get to the level where you feel even more and more how you're progressing, how you can use the system. Later on, we want to do certain camps, so I would say some programs where I'm not online, it's live, where we want to give the possibility to give the people to certain plateaus. When you have experienced that. I'm talking about power, how you build that power, how you experience how your power is going to change. It's a hardship, so you have to go through like bootcamp. Okay, so we are going to do things. Power generation quite tough, but when we were trying to balance it, but you have to go through certain stages in order to experience what power is and how power changes through time with your practice. Because sometimes you might have the feeling that now I'm weaker than before. Sometimes that's a good. When you didn't train for 2 years, that's not good. The feeling, but in certain cases, when you train a lot, you might even have the feeling by training a lot that I understand I'm weaker. That means in many cases that your powers change. Powers change, and it will become different. Other people will tell you later, and you will also feel that it's different. But anyway, so you have to go through these stages and build that kind of power. Also, we are going to concentrate on the harder qigong with conditioning and all these things to prepare the body, not just for those who want to go in more like a little bit fighting or things like that, but for you to have a more resilient body, and also focusing on the fighting aspect when you're ready for that, by the power and by the conditioning as well. And then without any risk, we can go into that aspect of how to use real or in application. I hope that it is going to happen soon. Many times it's up to you how prepared are you. So when we see that there are certain amount of people who would be willing to do this, want to do this, ready for this, we are going to definitely do this. And also, since for us health is also very important, we are going to focus within the training to be balanced on the health side, and also specifically doing health focused sessions or retreats or whatever we are going to do. So I think we find the right combination, right balance going forward.
Never miss out on the health, because none of it's possible without looking after yourself. So the health is just as important as everything else. Keep it balanced, yeah, and enjoy your training. Have a nice time. Enjoy it.
Guys, thank you, and let's find out what we can have for lunch.
Okay. 15 minutes, 20 minutes down here.